ANC National spokesperson Zizi Kodwa has condemned the violence that erupted at the second day of the party's 8th Eastern Cape Provincial Conference that saw about 28 people injured yesterday. This is outgoing Provincial Secretary Mabuyane and outgoing chairperson Phumulo Masualle contested each other for the chairperson position. Let's now cross live to our reporter on the scene, Busisiwe Jemsana, for the latest news from that conference. Busisiwe, I hear about 28 people were injured there last night. I mean, good morning to you first. I mean, I thought everything was going on track yesterday. We saw the 2,000 delegates that were about to verify their credentials. So what led to the violence that saw so many injuries last night?
Well, Alicia, chaos ensued even before the one that ensued inside the Congress venue, outside where other delegates were not allowed in after the verification process. They were chanting songs and they tried to force entry into the venue, into the yard of the Congress. Police had to use stun grenades to disperse them. Soon after that, just when we thought things were back to normal, there was order again. Inside, credentials were being discussed. We spoke to an NEC member, Legitimacy, who was saying everything is going smoothly inside. They are discussing credentials and they're expecting the Congress to continue smoothly. Little did we know, Alicia, that we would have to storm outside when members, delegates stormed out, running away from the venue when the chaos ensued. They were throwing stones at each other, throwing chairs, and it was a complete mess. Ambulances had to be called in. Some are hospitalized or some sustained minor injuries. Whilst we're still looking at that, Alicia, inside we were told that the Congress is continuing and they are moving with the program of the day. We did manage to speak to Legitimacy. In fact, Alicia, even yesterday after that adoptions where credentials were adopted, we went in for the nominations and nominations were done. But the chairperson, Premier Phumulo Masualle, was not there. Sakumzi Somyo was not there. Tandi Somakau was not there. Mlibo Koboshiane was not there. It would seem, Alicia, that all those who were pro-Masualle left, those who are PEC members left the conference, and those who were pro-Mabuyane remained in the Congress. And even at the gallery, Alicia, lead delegates who were there were pro-Oscar Mabuyane. And after that, nominations went smoothly. Chairperson, outgoing chairperson Phumulo Masualle and outgoing Provincial Secretary Oscar Mabuyane were nominated, and Masualle was nominated in his absentia, and all the delegates that were pro-Masualle that were vying for positions were not there. They were nominated in their absentia. And then as we speak to you now, voting is expected to continue again. Inside, we haven't seen any sign of songs being chanted. We haven't seen any signs of those who are pro-Masualle. Whilst we're speaking to Mlibo Koboshiane outside, who was the member of the PEC that is no longer there now, he said that before the Congress convened last night, there should have been an urgent meeting with the PEC to pave a way forward, but that did not happen. The PEC was the conference was continuing inside, and there were National Executive Committee members who were presiding over that. I mentioned Legitimacy, Zizi Kodwa was also there, Nosivuwe Mapisa Ngakula was also there, Alicia.
But Busisiwe, how could those higher-ranking ANC officials then allow this conference to go through after particularly what we saw with the Pietermaritzburg High Court ruling, allow for this conference to go on with all this unhappiness, with all these complaints that are plaguing this conference? Do you foresee that any results that could be announced today, as you mentioned, some of the key people that were supposed to be nominated had to be nominated in absentia?
Well, Alicia, Lindiwe Zulu is confident that the conference was legitimate and that everything was done according to the Constitution, and they are ready for any court case that might arise, as they have made sure that they do things according to the book, saying that they are not going to allow delegates who have been disruptive inside the Congress, who have been chanting songs, who has been undermining even the leadership that was there, get in the way of making sure that this conference continues, saying that they met the quorum to make sure that the conference continues. You'll know that over 1,700 delegates were part of this conference, and by the time the chaos ensued, when it reconvened, over 900 were in the hall, and saying that though that meets the quorum. And Alicia, I can assure you that we are going to go to a court battle with this one. As I'm speaking to you now, court papers have been filed in the East London court by Mr. Mvuzo Nochese, who is representing the pro-Masualle group. He is saying that they want to interdict the continuation of this Congress in absence of those delegates, and alleging that there are bogus delegates that were left inside to continue with the conference.
Now, Busisiwe, do tell me, with all of this, we were expecting the results at about 10 o'clock. It is now 17 minutes past the hour. And of course, we still see behind you, there's just disorganization and disarray. Do you get a sense that we're going to get those elected results by the end of today, if we're lucky?
Certainly, Alicia, I'm almost sure that we are going to get those results, because the people that are behind me are all singing in one voice. The group that was against them is not here today, so we're expecting things to run smoothly from here onwards, not unless another group comes in. Also, Alicia, it is important to note that divisions are simmering. They are very visible, because as voting continues inside, another group, which is a pro-Masualle, is convening what they term as a Provincial Executive Committee, which is a suggestion that they do not recognize what happened. They do not recognize the nominations that took place. They do not recognize this election. We will see what they come out with and a way forward for them from that Provincial Executive Committee that is taking place in a parallel structure. But we know that National Executive Committee members were presiding over this conference. So whether or not it was legitimate, it is something that remains to be seen after the court cases, after that group files this dispute to whoever they will file it with, probably with the SG, and it remains to be seen, really, Alicia, what will happen onwards, because this Congress was meant to make sure that after it there is unity, but it seems like it is a complete opposite.
Bosi, maybe just speak to some of the members that are around you, because we want to get a clear sense of what, what is this thing that they're protesting about. I want to hear from any of them their actual views, because it's nice for us to speculate and say this is what's going on. If you could just find one of the people, one of the members, and ask them what are some of their biggest grievances when it comes to this PEC. Please, Busi.
Let me try that, Alicia. I'm going to try to grab up with it just to get a sense of what is happening now with the Congress. We see you standing here. What is the way forward?
You know, the delegates now are entering the conference room again to proceed again with the Congress. As the national executive members, Zizi Kodwa, made mention that the Congress will continue. The event that took place yesterday, they won't stop this Congress. It will continue, and now the delegates are entering the conference room, showing
what we want to know, because we are of the assumption that all of you here are pro Mabuyane. How then do we continue with the Congress without the pro-Masualle group?
The Congress is not about the pro-Mabuyane and the pro-Masualle. It's about the ANC. These are members of the ANC in good standing, and these are delegates from branches. And as these delegates that are here constitute 80% of the delegates that were supposed to be in this Congress. So the Congress should continue with or without the pro-Masualle or the pro-Mabuyane. The Congress should continue with the delegates nominated and elected in the branches to represent them in the Congress. So the Congress will continue.
Thank you so much. I'm going to try and grab someone else who will be glad to speak to me if we can talk to you. Anyone who wants to talk about what happened last night, what you make of what happened last night, Mama? Unjani, Mama?
No comment.
No comment. Kulungile, Mama. Kulungile. Well, Alicia, I tried to get someone else to speak to us. Well, looks like
No, can't say nothing.
But you were here last night. What do you make of the Congress?
Can't say nothing.
Can't say nothing. All right, Alicia, it looks like I'm not winning to get another candidate to speak to us, but you did hear from the one that you spoke to saying that this is not about the pro-Masualle, the pro-Mabuyane. It is about members of the ANC. It is about delivering the mandate from branches. Can we talk to you on air just to find out what you make of what happened last night inside the conference venue?
Angosi msasazi lo uthethayo ngusabelo dinwa oward 6 kwi-subregion eNquzi kwi-region OR Tambo. Into eyenzekileyo izolo besinenjongo thina apha yokuba sizoqhuba iconference. Siqhubile ke izolo ngenxa yemeko ezithe zangapha kwamandla. Ii-comrades ebezinazo apha azikwazanga ukwenza ngendlela ekwenziwa ngayo yi-ANC. Zayidonsela into yoba makuliwe kuxatyanwe. Asabikho kuloo nto ke thina deske sazoncedwa ngabaseburhulumenteni sayiqhuba inkomfa sisi.
Well, he's saying that the Congress that were inside were not doing things as according to the constitution of the ANC, and they were not part of that. They wanted the Congress to continue. Alicia, I can tell you, if the past 2 days were busy, we can expect an even more busier day today. There is a court interdict in court in the East London Magistrates Court. There is a PEC meeting that is sitting on the other side, and right here, the Congress continues. So we will bring you all that and make sure that we continue to give you the developments of the Congress as they happen with my cameraman, Tobani Blom, who has been working tirelessly over the past 2 days to make sure that we are able to give you the Congress and give you all the visuals, all the sounds as they happen.
All right, and Busisiwe, maybe take us through what is still outstanding today in terms of course, the Provincial Elective Conference. What is still needed to be done by, of course, the members, the delegates, and everyone that is around there, except, of course, waiting for the final results of the votes?
Indeed, Alicia, last night when the media was asked to leave the venue, an organizational report was to be tabled and it was to be a closed session. We are expecting that from after voting is concluded, there will be an announcement of the election and will be called in that. We will know there will be an announcement of the top 5 positions. There's also been reports that Deputy President Cyril Ramaphosa will be coming to address the Congress. Now, Alicia, this is where it gets interesting because all the divisions have been separated into 2. Those supporting chairperson Masualle were seen as to be aligned with Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma when it comes to national politics, and those who are supporting Oscar Mabuyane were seen to be aligned with Cyril Ramaphosa. And the indication, we were told, in fact, prior to this, that once Cyril Ramaphosa comes to address, then it would be an indication that his camp, his supporters would have won the Congress, and it looks like it is exactly what is going to be happening. We are waiting to see, Alicia, even with the Deputy President, what he will make of this Congress, what he will say in his speech regarding what has been happening here in the Eastern Cape and this Congress.
All right, and Busisiwe, just a very quick point. I know you were talking to Andile Lungisa yesterday, and he mentioned something very profound. Now, I want to know if you've gathered any information about, of course, he was claiming that, yes, the party has proper processes and policies which failed dismally upon implementation And like we've seen with this conference, has anybody raised this issue with the main structures of the body?
Well, Alicia, the main structures of the party are adamant that everything has been followed. Inside there, they raised the arguments and disputes were raised when they were discussing credentials, which is where, Alicia, all the chaos started from, because they couldn't reach a common ground, because Andile Lungisa and other delegates were saying that they cannot adopt credentials because even the list that was used to check, to verify delegates was fraudulent itself, and others were saying that a verification process has been followed. We stood outside for hours and everyone has been verified, but they remained strong, saying that no, what was used was fraudulent and therefore we cannot be relying on that document because they are doubting the authenticity of that document itself. But from the NEC members that we've been talking to here, they are all confident, they are all sure that they followed proper procedures and that the constitution was followed and no breach was done, and that the disputes that were raised do not carry weight, do not carry facts.
All right, Busisiwe, we'll definitely get in touch with you much later on in the bulletin and, of course, find out and see if those results are available to us. And, of course, if Deputy President Cyril Ramaphosa has also arrived in that venue, he is expected to address those members. As we've just heard from our reporter, court papers have even been filed in relation to this PEC out in East London. A lot of members were injured last night, about 28 injuries over the two factions, of course, that are contesting for the role of chairmanship in the province.